This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to educating and inspiring through conversations with today's top talents in the world of glass. Hey, what's happening? Welcome to a Glass Blower's Companion, episode number 21. How the hell you doing today? Happy effing New Year to you as well. It's the first episode of 2021. Sorry about the delay on getting episodes out. I had this interview done last week, and I have actually just been focused on making glass in the studio and trying to get timing on getting these things edited and what have you. And I'm excited to be back and look forward to what 2021 is going to bring us. So as we all know, 2020 was one hell of a year, and I think it was a good year for us all to reflect on way things were going in our lives, maybe things in areas of our lives that weren't really happy or had turmoil, and we wanted to change, and I think it was a good year for reflection and for change, and to experiment and give us a chance to really hone in on specific things in our lives that we want to make better. And for myself personally, that was a lot of stuff that I did, including putting on 20 pounds, which I got to get off. But that's a whole nother story for another day. But again, it was a day for us to, or a year for us to reflect on all kind of things, you know, whether it's social issues, economic issues, spiritual beliefs, family matters. I mean, you name it. That year gave us a lot of time to take care of and reflect on those things. And hopefully you did and evolved as a human being as we all managed to navigate through that crazy year of 2020. Now, here we are, the first month of 2021, which is actually coming to an end here on Sunday. I'm recording this right now. It's on Wednesday, the last Wednesday of 2021 of January, which is just fucking bonkers. But that being said, hopefully are ready as we kind of get some kind of normalcy back now that the vaccine's out there, and some things are starting to reopen, but it's going to be a slow progress. I think probably when we get into 2022 is going to be when we finally feel some kind of normalcy. But that being said, the things that we learned in 2020, 2021 is the time now to put into action. Because by the time 2022 gets here and things are back into somewhat normalcy, there are still lots of areas in the world that have evolved within business and within our work and with marketing and sales and social media and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely something that you should be paying attention to and should be working towards changing. And some of us may not give a fuck and just keep doing what we're doing. But if you want to find success, it's definitely important to pivot and evolve and make waves in whatever industry or field you're in. And with us, it's the glass industry. And for those of us that are pipe makers or just glass artists in general, whatever your niche is, it's time for us to make waves in that particular niche. I'm very excited for you as an artist to see your growth. I would love feedback. Just, you know, if you want to hit me up on email or through Instagram. The Instagram for this podcast, by the way, is I've changed it to Wise Guy Media, which is my little media company that is producing multiple contents out there. I still have the tag Glass Blower's Companion, but you can find me out there on Instagram at Wise Guy Media, or just send me an email at wiseguymedia@gmail.com. I have a little link in the show notes that says contact. You can click on that contact and send me a direct email. I would love some feedback to see if there were things that you changed and or are changing and where you're heading towards. It's definitely, I love feedback. So reach out to me. Let me know what you're doing. Also on an upcoming episode of A Wise Guy Minute, I'm going to be covering the idea of creating a narrative when it comes to your line of work, something that I feel is important when it comes to finding a specific path and direction within your creative space of what you're doing within your work, finding your voice for one, and finding that canvas that you can recreate over and over and over again. But because it is a canvas, you can change the way the colors are or the patterning and whatever. I like to use Mike Luna, for example, just because of his dragons. that those that have followed Mike Luna for a long time have seen this. He makes a specific style look of his dragons, and he has evolved them into this new claw rig that he's doing. It's beautiful pieces. But again, that's another piece that he's evolved and has continued to refine and make, but he just changes up the coloration, changes up the patterning, and still has this really nice, beautiful, refined piece of work that he's able to put some sort of story behind, or his customers put a story behind. And that's what I think is fun, is when either you begin to create a narrative for your work, or your customer sees some kind of story that's going on that you can pick up on and then bring that into your own story in a sense, and give them credit for it, if you want, but also allows you to have just kind of a direction in your work, and create a world within what your glass is living inside of. Something to think about. Something that I've personally have been working on was part of what my last year's evolution was within my work. And as I was redoing my Wise Guy line, a line that I've been doing now for about 8 years, I just felt like it was just time to kind of reinvent myself with that. So I came up with this Wise Guy 2.0 line, which is a completely different look to what the old versions used to be. And I'm now creating both. I have my original Wise Guy line, which is my more economic line, I guess I'd call it. And then I have the 2.0, which is like the higher end version of what I'm making now. And it's been fun. It's been a fun evolution. It's allowed me to create characters and within my line of work, and create narrative as well. And my personal pipe Instagram is jmichael_functionals. And you'll see, if you go back a couple months, when I began to share the Wise Guy 2.0 line, and I started to create a little bit of story and dialogue about the characters, and even gave them names, which were influenced from my wife playing Animal Crossing while she was down in quarantine from work, and then both of us having time off, etc. That was basically my inspiration for that narrative. So just something that I wanted to put out there, and without rambling on too much about it, but just wanted you to think about it. Also, some current news out there in the glass world, as most of us that watch television out there, whether it's Netflix or whatever, saw last year's season 1 of Blown Away on Netflix. A lot of us had negative opinions about the show just because of the way that the winner was chosen, just the overall show. It was fun to see. I loved the fact that it exposed the world to the glass world itself, and to the difficulties and the heartaches that go into what we do. But it also was kind of a shitty show. Now season 2 comes out, and the one and only Mike Shelbo was chosen as a contestant to be on the show. As of this recording, I had not yet watched it yet. I was waiting to watch it with my wife, so her and I can watch together. But it was exciting to see someone that is an influence within the pipe industry. Mike's not only a piper; he's also just a glass artist overall, and an amazing talent. So it was pretty badass to see him featured as one of the shows, or one of the guest artists on this show. I'd love to hear if you've watched it, what your opinion on it is, so definitely hit me up about that. And also, now that things are kind of coming back to quote-unquote normalcy, trade shows are going to be happening again. And as of now, for the first half of the year, we have Champs, which is kicking off 2021 with their first trade show being held in Orlando at Gaylord Palms Resort at the Gaylord Palms Resort from March 9th through the 11th. The FAM, Functional Art Movement Trade Show, is also going to be co-hosting this year's Glass Games, which is themed Game On. You can go to Champs or the FAM website and apply to be in the games if you'd like to be a part of that. And what they're basically doing is the Game On theming is games, whether it's like a chessboard or a game set, Monopoly piece. Maybe you can make a full replica of like a Nintendo NES game system, things like that, but it's got to have function to it as well. And what they're having artists do is actually create their work at home and then bring it into the space to then show it off, and then it gets judged. They're not really judging you on the process, they're judging you on the final result. I think a lot of it has to do with the space, and I went to the first year that they had Champs at the Gaylord Palms. It's an incredible resort if you've never been there before here in Orlando. But I think because of the space, they can't have open flame, and definitely go check that out. I'll be going there this year just to walk around, probably on day 2. But again, that's being held from March 9th through the 11th. You can go to champs.com and register for that if you want to make a trip out to Florida. They are taking all precautions, social distancing, masks are required, etc. Also, Las Vegas is back May 13th through the 15th. This year it's being held at the Bally's Hotel and Casino. As of now, again, that they will be doing this trade show. Things may change in the meantime. Hopefully not, but as of now, you can. And you can go check out just glass.vegas, I believe is their website. I will have the links for that in the show notes. And I never did mention today's guest, which I usually do at the very beginning. But today's guest features Peter McPhillips. Peter, I actually got in contact with him. He's been on the Torch for around 4 years now. We had a great conversation. I posted in Torch Talk back around Thanksgiving time, just in there randomly to see as my way of giving back and saying thanks to anybody. I usually myself personally pick who I have on to the show. But I wanted to give other artists out there that may not have a name out there recognized or what have you to also have opportunities to come on the show. So I did a little post, and Peter was one of the artists that reached out and said they'd like to come on. Him and I get into a conversation about the benefits, the pros and cons of social media groups within like Facebook and what have you. 'Cause sometimes they are very beneficial, sometimes they're detrimental, depending on your personality and how you take feedback and criticism, but also how you ask questions, etc. So you'll see when we get into that. And it's also why I started my Patreon group. I wanted to create a small, I'd love to have a large community, but I really wanted to have an intimate space that could grow and where each artist that's in this group could help each other out. And right now, the artists that I have different levels of experience. But also within the Patreon group that I also am doing coaching calls once a month. I get on the phone. I had my first virtual lesson that I taught with one of the guys in the group, which was a lot of fun. He was at a point where he was having a little bit of artistic block, had some ideas of things he wanted to make and wasn't sure what to make. So he was like, I've been thinking about making a mermaid. I'm like, well, dude, let's fucking make a mermaid. So I just sat on the computer and we did a Zoom call, and I got to watch him create this mermaid with my verbal help. And it's new ways of doing things because of the way that this world is right now with coronavirus and stuff. But it's allowing me to also learn how to teach virtually. I have another student in the Patreon group who has never really worked much glass ever, just got his own setup finally, is in the middle of moving, getting a new house, etc. But I'm very excited to help him out. And it's been a lot of fun seeing people within our group that are young and new to the world of glass or not new to the world of glass, having fun and learning from each other. And I got to give some shout outs to Ryan and also to Kyle that are in the group and everybody else that's in there. My buddy John, one of my students, just having a lot of fun. So if you'd like to come be a part of our Patreon group and have a troll-free, intimate, fun space to grow as a glass artist, you can find me out there on Patreon at patreon.com/WiseGuyRadio. And again, for as little as $1 a month, you have access to the community. For $5 a month, it gives you access to the community and also tutorial videos. And then once you hit the $10 a month mark, it gives you access to everything, which includes me once a month. And then pretty soon I'm going to be adding a higher level, which is going to be part of everything that I've been working on over the last 5 years within this podcast and the content that I've been creating, the website, the Wise Guy Institute that I've talked about a million times on here. Things are finally coming to reality, and it's taken forever, as everything does, but I'm working a full-time job at Disney. I was working full-time job. I'm still not full-time right now. I'm working 56 hours every 2 weeks, where I was working 86 hours every 2 weeks. So now the time that I have to supplement my income is in the studio. I'm doing videos. I got a lot going on. So that being said, I'm focused. I'm excited. I'm fired up, and I am just beyond. I have no more words for it because how pumped up I am to be back on here and recording this episode and this intro and talking to you and rambling on like I tend to do. So without further ado, I think it's time for us to get into this episode, the first one again of 2020. Again, Happy New Year. If you could please do me a huge favor, if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, if you could please, right there in the app, leave me a 5-star review. And if you could also hit the write a review link and write a nice little review about the show. Any kind of criticism about the show I take as well, but we prefer the nice chatter about the podcast. And you'll get some shout outs on the episodes in the future for giving me some love out there. It also helps within the world of algorithms and the technology gods that run Apple. And if you listen to this on any other app out there, there's some ways you can leave reviews and stuff. But again, I just appreciate you turning in and tuning in the show and having me in your earbuds while you're doing what you're doing on your day. So until then, thanks again for tuning in. Hope you enjoy this conversation with Peter. I have all of his links in the show notes, so you can find him out there on social media. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Peace. What's going on, Peter? Welcome to the show.
How you doing, brother?
Pretty good, man. Long time coming. Back on, I guess, Thanksgiving week or a little bit before that, I did a little post in Torch Talk asking anybody want to come on the show, and you were one of the first to hit me up. And I've had several people that have either waiting to come on or have come on already. So I appreciate you reaching out, and you have something very specific that we want to focus on today too, which we'll get into later. But before we do, I guess we'll just get started by having you give us your superhero origin story and how you were introduced to the Flame.
I was about 8 years old. I don't know if you've ever heard of this place, Arribas Brothers Glass.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them.
Disney. Yeah, I thought you may have. I saw a dude. What I remember was making little loop and stitch, and he just built Cinderella's slipper up, Blew my little mind. And, I was born in Corning, so I had been exposed to, like, hot shop work and stuff.
Yeah.
But never, like, that was the coolest thing in the world to me. And, so I started a little collecting trinkets and, as much with it as you can do at 8 years old without direct exposure. I got into the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And then in high school, I found out about these really cool products called glass pipes.
Hell yeah.
And, that opened up a whole new avenue, but they were still, I was in high school in the late 90s. So it was, there was no internet, there was no Revere, there was no Torch Talk, there was none of that. So I kind of, just started hunting around. It took me until I was about 28 to find a local glass blower that was willing to let me come in. I'd pay him $20, sit, watch, no touch, no questions. Took that as far as I could, and then years later, I came in on the Revere generation. I saw these videos online, and all of a sudden there was tactile information. So I said, screw it, we're going to do it. And opened up a credit card, got a Bravo, Paragon F-120, all the accoutrements.
Yep.
And started figuring that shit out.
Hell yeah, it's interesting. Definitely there's the Dustin Revere generation of glassblowers, which for me was like the first kind of wave of like the new generation that was coming in. Like people that I was teaching and stuff that were on Fish Tour or whatever, and then they were off tour and they're like, hey, I want to blow glass, and they mentioned Dustin Revere videos, and yeah, so it's interesting because then the second wave was after Degenerate Art, and that whole generation.
Right. It's funny, you can see the bubbles rise and fall, and all these full setups go up for sale.
Yeah, exactly.
It all evens out. Oh, mine's not for sale yet, though, so I'm going to stick it out.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so how long has it been now since you've been rocking glass?
I've been doing it about 6 years.
Okay.
Almost 7. It'll be 7 this summer. Mostly self-taught, aside from the videos and stuff. I've been very fortunate to meet a bunch of local guys who are very generous with knowledge and have helped me correct errors and really get me on the progressive path.
Yeah, I know. Like pre-recording, you mentioned pulling points, so it sounds like you got a good foundation, which is so important. Like even at the very beginning, because then by 6-7 years in, that foundation that you have is going to allow you to begin to make product that you can sell and reinvest and get your money's worth out of everything.
For sure.
So what were some of the first things you were working on that you were making?
You start with little gathers and marbles and little paperweights and stuff, and pretty quickly I started trying to make spoons. I still keep the first spoon that it was deemed functional.
Nice.
And that it had, nothing was tagged. It had 3 holes. That's on my bench every day. Got to keep it humble.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I wish I had my first one. My
Uh,
sister has one of my first ones, but it's not like the first. So
my buddy Joe, uh, I, I was kind of flying solo for a few months, and then I in line for oxygen. I met one of my best friends now, Joe Samuelson, and I showed him some little, snowman or something that I had made. "Hey, I'm a glass blower,
oh
and
yeah,
he's like, yeah, me too. That's cute. And he mentioned he'd be willing to show me some stuff. Uh, and his advice to me eventually was buy a case of glass and fuck it up.
yeah, good
Just
advice.
absolutely like just make spoons out of the whole thing. Just take it and intentionally go through it as quickly as you can. And it was early enough that I was still very excited by that kind of prospect. So I ordered a case of, I think 38-inch Cymax, or a 38 millimeter Cymax,
Hmm.
and got some silver and just started working on my fume and my shaping. And by the end of that case, there was a lot, you know, there's a lot of progression to the point where 1 out of 3 was sellable.
Heck yeah, yeah, that's important, and that's what I always preach, man. Like especially when you're practicing, just pulling points. Like just take one tube and just don't worry about wasting it. Just pull like 60,
No,
70
that
points out of it.
is tuition.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
all the glass that you waste is tuition.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it for sure. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, I kept crushing on spoons. Eventually added some lines. Then I got ballsy, started making some Sherlocks and little sidecars and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Your basic production pipes. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
the
that's what.
craziest stuff I made was in the first year before I learned all the rules.
Right. I know what you mean, man. I look back
Like
at
I
some of
made
the
this
stuff I
little
was going for, man. I was like, I can't believe I made that shit like 2 years in.
like it's wonky, it's jank, but the imagination was free.
Yeah,
You weren't well, I can't do that because this color requires more oxygen and what I want to pair it with. It needs a more reducing environment. I'm going to slap these two together and it's going to look like this.
yeah, exactly. And it
And somehow,
generally does.
and somehow it does.
Yeah. Like my wife, she's been doing a little bit of glass here and there, and she goes in the studio like day two,
Right
and
on.
she's like, "I'm gonna make a cat today." I'm like, you're not gonna make a fucking cat. And by the end of the day, she had a little tiny cat, had the curled tail and
There's a cat.
everything. Yeah, and it looked like a cat. So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it was pretty funny.
I have not yet been able to get any of the women in my life into the torch, but that's what that's more gas for me.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think the same thing. 'Cause she's like, she wants to go play a lot. So I tell her, I'm like, yeah, I haven't. Oh, she brought her cat over for me to show it to you. Her little
Oh, that's awesome.
right.
Super well done.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I
great.
said. I was like, it's a cat.
The proportions are even perfect.
I know. That's what I said.
Awesome.
I know. It's so funny. So going back a little bit
That's
to what you
awesome.
were saying earlier with the Rebus brothers, you just kind of I like to jump around here.
That's fine.
I was probably Miguel Rebus you were watching doing the slipper, and he's been with us for like 40 years, and his family's he's like the cousin of the brothers in a sense. Um, but I was the same way, man. Like I just watching the process of like someone doing like a loop stitch or run and stitch it's called to build a form out of that, and then you look at what people are doing in our community doing like network and that kind of process. It's just it's similar, but it's not, because that running stitch is a whole another. Like I tell people at work if they ask me because we have some samples on my bench of like one of his ships, and they always ask me about making it, and I'm like, it's a totally different discipline. It's like comparing like classical guitar and rock and blues. You got to take one of
Sure.
those directions, you know what I mean? And for me, what I
Sure.
do with the sculpture and the blown glass pipes and stuff, that's the rock and blues, and like the running stitch stuff is like the classical guitar, and
That's super precision and
yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy. But Miguel can do both. Like we have two guys that work with us I consider masters, and he's one of the guys that it's just when you see somebody doing something completely effortless, it's just it's incredible. It's just like it's poetry, it's pretty neat. And to be 8 years old to see that, that's what I love about my gig is like, okay, I see all these kids coming in and they're just mesmerized. And I'm like, don't look at it for too long. You want to hurt your eyeballs, but I understand why you're here, kind of thing. But meanwhile, their parents are trying to go to get on Space Mountain or some shit, and the kids want to sit there and watch me make this fucking Olaf or whatever I'm working on, and I get excited over it. There's been times I had to
Sure.
turn the torch off because I get the dads looking at me, and I get the dad look, and I'm like, okay, I know you guys got to go. So I'll turn off my torch, and I'm like, hey, it's break time, kind of thing. So they can all take off. So it's cool to see that
you're helping the flow.
Yeah,
You're
totally.
A good man.
Yeah, exactly. But it's cool, man. Just to hear that, because I've had my buddy Chris Dickey. He's goes by Goblin King, and he was the same way. He was influenced by seeing Disney glassblowers. As a kid, his parents always knew where to find them. So it's
right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to hear, and now to see what you're doing too. So you're 7 years in now. So you have these barriers and restrictions and laws of science and stuff that you've learned as you've gone through, and it kind of sucks, right? Like
it does.
It's good, but it doesn't.
It does, but it presents the challenge.
Yeah.
When you start, you kind of treat it like you're playing with Play-Doh, and now we understand. You clean seals, and it takes on a whole nother level of challenge. Versus, I'm gonna make a little minion for my daughter or whatever,
Right.
Black some cobalt and some acid yellow together, back before the CAD apocalypse.
Right.
I miss that stuff.
Yeah, supposedly there's an acid yellow that's been rebatched or reformulated. I guess that's
sure. I got to get some of that. I don't mess with much color these days. I pretty much fume. But I do still have a healthy stock.
Nice.
But I haven't bought much new in a while.
So at what point in time were you able to start selling stuff? Did you feel like kind of early on in your process?
Pretty early on. I would say within a year and a half, I was selling, not consistently, because I wasn't producing consistently.
Right.
There's a local head shop in town, Terrapin Station. Love them. They've been around for 30 years. They were voted High Times number 10 head shop in America, blah, blah, blah. I've been a customer there for 20 of those years. I just packed up a little pistol case and, I went up to the store and said, look, you know me, I respect you. Am I in the right direction of stuff you're looking for? I said, this is kind of where I'm at now. Where are these anything that you would put on a shelf? Am I way off? And they bought all of them. I wasn't there trying to make a sale at all. I was just talking to my friend, trying to get her opinion. And they took them all, and they said, come back and see us in a month.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great. And they've been really good to me. Nothing's ever perfect, but they've been pretty good to me. And they bought pretty consistently from me. They like exclusivity from their artists, which kind of became an issue down the line when I showed them the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of sucks.
This doesn't necessarily buy exclusivity.
Yeah, if you're spending like $10,000 a month, well, we can talk.
Right. But a couple other shops in town that they were okay with. They were good to me too. But where I've really made most of my money is the Facebook groups. Glass blowers or store owners and stuff like that.
Yeah, hell yeah, good to hear.
I pull it out of the kiln, snap a picture on the grass with the sunshine hitting the fume, and generally it's gone by the end of the day. So,
was that like just the smoke shops, or was that also just to the retail guests, like regular customers?
Smoke shops. I deal retail in town, and a little bit on Instagram, but mostly I deal wholesale.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that was one of the things that I had Chris Piazza on. We talked about that, like how to in a sense successfully sell through Facebook, and it's tricky, man, because the rules with Facebook and their things are always changing. But I'm glad to hear that you're able to do that, because it's I think it's one of those outlets that a lot of people think about, but then like the majority of the community don't usually go that direction or that route, in a sense.
I think it's there's a proud feeling of selling retail. You like getting all that money, and it's great. I love when it happens, but there's also another, I get a different kind of pride out of, well, this store that sees dollars and cents in products, not just a cool piece.
Hmm.
They've determined that my product is worth it.
Yeah, I think that's super well said.
And when they get a 10 pack, that's cool. Cooler when they get a 50 pack,
Hmm.
because they have confidence that they're gonna sell every one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's well said, man. I haven't thought about it that way, honestly, ever. That's an interesting perspective. I think that's how we should all think about it. That this fact that this smoke shop is investing their hard-earned money on our product because they see that it's worth their time to invest and their money to invest into
right.
our product as an artist. I think that's
It's
pretty
worth
rad.
their shelf space.
Because
They could,
that's a struggle for artists, to have the confidence to walk into a shop or to have the confidence to name a specific price. I struggle with myself at times. I'm like, what the fuck do I sell
sure.
this for? And I'm like, I don't want to undercut myself, but I don't want to sound like I'm asking for too much. But it's
And then you don't want to come across like you're undercutting this guy over here.
Yep.
Who sells I sell my fumers for 17.50. This guy sells them for 20, but this guy sells them for 12. There's
Yeah.
where do you land? How do you determine your value?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like the fair market value, but like you're saying, if you have three different guys selling the same product at three different prices, like if you're right in the middle, you're probably sitting pretty good.
Right, right. That's one of my big pieces of advice is to newer people: know your market.
Yeah.
Go to
Huge.
the head shops as a customer. Don't bring your case.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see that. $35. Okay. So 17.50 wholesale. I can crank that out in 17 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
If you see they're selling inside outs for $10, that's not a product worth your time.
Yeah, and probably a shop you don't want to even bother with.
That's a very fair point.
Yeah, because I like there's a couple accounts that I deal with, or I used to deal with back in the day, and the guy had a franchise, had like 15 stores, and he was a bit of a dickhead as it was. So I wouldn't deal with him. I deal with his employees, but he still was like, well, I'm buying for all these shops, so I want it for this price. And it only ever went to just one location. He never split it up amongst all of his shops, but that was like his gimmick, to get to lowball you. And it was a pain in the ass, but and he was a pain in the ass to a lot of people, that local artists and stuff. So that we just all said "fuck you" to him, kind of thing. And then he just carries a bunch of import shit.
Um, we're never going to get rid of that.
No.
That's there's three levels of work. There's import, there's proto, and there's heady. I only worry about the middle. The import shops are we're going to change a few minds, but it's always going to be there. So yeah, you're right. Those are stores I tend not to even. You have fun in there.
Yeah, exactly. But also at the same time, for the newbies, there's
Sure.
sometimes it's a good spot for them to have, their quote unquote China killer.
Yep.
Yep.
If there's a local store around here that pretty much is an importer. They're the ones selling all the import to other shops, and they have storefronts. And they have like one little case of local glass, and it's pretty much consistently all the new kids,
Heck yeah.
all the beginners. Which yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a great way to get your work out there and recoup some of the cost.
Yeah, because we know that shit's expensive.
Jesus, cost me a lot of money in a marriage.
Oh, dude, it's cost me too, so I get it. Even though my first one doesn't count, but yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, and then it's like my
Practice run.
Oh yeah, totally. It definitely was. Yeah, she's who I have my kids with, so it was see if we can make this kind of work, deal. But the second one was partially because of my obsession with what I do. But it's something else, like my wife and I are talking about. Like I wanted to have an episode with her to talk about the importance of having support in relationships and stuff. But also like finding that balance, because like I want to work, and I'd know, okay, I should probably turn off my torch and give my my wife some attention.
That's work too, brother. You gotta put the hours in there.
Yeah.
Hours are powers.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking and say about like if we like took specific areas of our life and put as much love and attention into those areas as we do our glass, life would be fucking amazing.
Sure. For sure.
Just one of those things.
Unfortunately, our soul cup only holds so much juice.
Yep, exactly. Very true. That's why I like to try to take a day off every week if I can, just to get
For
that
sure.
recharge,
Yep.
But yeah, man. So that being said, it's so you're out of Corning, and up in New York, I know there's a lot of glass blowers. Corning, New York, is known for its glass in general. Did you ever go to take classes from there at all, or do hot shop work, or you just went there and just kind of saw?
No, well, I was there when I was a kid. I'm in Buffalo now.
Okay.
Still close by. I'm always tempted to go there. When I drive to see my buddies real close. I'm always tempted to roll in. Lately, not so much, but
Yeah.
uh, that's one of those on the horizon things. Since I am right there, I might as well make use of it. They're always hosting like U-Sheen classes or something.
Yeah, which is pretty cool seeing Corning now hosting pipe makers. After the years,
It's been a real turnaround uh, in a lot of places. Obviously Corning they have a piece on display. I think a salt piece,
yeah,
right?
yep, yeah. He's like the
Yeah,
first
I mean
ever.
that's friggin' mind blowing. And then the general acceptance in society of cannabis culture is growing.
Hmm.
But I don't believe that legalization is going to positively impact our sales specifically.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think that anybody that's waiting for legalization is going to get the cheapest pipe they can possibly get.
Yep.
They don't care. They haven't been in the culture. They don't understand, what a spoon with a really clean millie encasement, how cool that is.
Yeah,
It's like,
completely.
oh yeah, we'll try this cannabis stuff and $8, perfect.
Right. Yeah, man. It's
So
interesting conversation too. Like I was talking to one of my buddies. He's one of my collectors, and him and I were talking about that last week. Like he's all about sharing his glass with his friends and like educating them on like where it comes from. Like a buddy has brought over a knockoff import that from Combo that does like the birds and all just interesting stuff. But it was one of his imported knockoffs that's out there. And my dude told his buddy, he's like, dude, I'm not touching that thing. I'm not gonna look at it or smoke out of it. Here's what some real glass is. And then he also showed him who the artist was that shit was knocked off from. But it's because people are going to the dispensaries now to legally purchase cannabis and stuff, which is fucking amazing. They're not going to a
Sure.
homeboy down the street who's been the collector, and knows the scene, or you're not on like the dead lot or fish lot or something like that, where you got everybody slinging all kind of shit and really hyping up the glass. Like, this is why this has cost this much. This is who made it. This is what love went into it. This is what Inside Out is, etc. So that education gap's going away, and I think it's going to be interesting to find ways to keep that going, especially with like Instagram and stuff that are now they're cracking down on all kind of shit every day, something new.
We're trying in Buffalo to really bring flame working out in front of the public more. 2 years ago, they do a big music festival here every year, and it's all local-ish art, everything, music, performance art, visual art. Um, 2 years ago, we got to set up two torches on stage right next to the bands, and we're like, just pulling points and making big stuff and trying to get people aware of that this even happens. We had Shayla, we had Winstar Glass there, we had Tammy Baller there, and they collabed on these really cool goblets at the end of the night. Terrapin Station actually put this all on. So we're trying to increase public knowledge that we even friggin' exist.
Yeah, completely. I think I remember seeing
And
about that too. That event that happened.
right on. And then from there we can, once we get a little buzz going, maybe we can start educating about the pipes specifically, or the hell, I'd like to get marbles to be a friggin' thing again. There's a very niche market for it, but I feel like we could expand that a little bit with a little knowledge.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's I think the public performance aspect of things, again, why I love what I do, we're at the Mouse House, because
Sure.
I'm exposing people to what we do. I'm not making pipes, obviously, but when I get a chance to do a glass blown piece using some tubing and whatever, it's a different demonstration. I get people commenting all the time about making pipes, or it's a bong or some shit that I'm working on when I'm making a flower vase,
Sure.
or something like that. But it's the fact
Sure.
that I'm doing a blown glass demo in front of people. It's not just some circus glass, making a glass slipper or a little animal or whatever,
A little hummingbird,
Yeah, exactly, the typical stuff that you see, which is how I was introduced to it at the Renaissance Festival, But
Sure.
still, it's definitely important. And then I'm kind of curious, like now with this Blown Away show, which I didn't like season 1 at all, but now that Mike Showbo's in season 2, I'm pretty stoked to kind of see like what happens with this season, if it's going to be any better. Like, I don't know. I hope it's going to be better, because I'd like to see eventually this turn into something like what my friends at Cherry Glass are doing with the Tournament of Fire online tournament, and see like something like that get to a bigger scale, to have this pipe blown glass crazy artist tournament online to a bigger public.
I liked blown glass until about the 300th person asked, "Hey, have you seen this this blown away show?" Yeah. It was neat. It was cool. I don't like the way it ended, but it was a fun ride. It was, and again, it was just nice to see it's out there.
Yeah, exactly.
People are seeing it.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people.
But people
everybody's an expert.
People are still equating that with what we do.
Right, exactly.
But it's a step in the right direction. So
yeah, exactly. It's the beginning of it, and I think that's what's been fun. Like, I think going back to like the late '60s with Dale Chihuly and his exposure, and bringing the Venetian glass here and this big artwork and stuff, and this home studio
huge
movement
installations
beginning. And really like people are freaking out about glass. So like the last 45 years or so, we've been having this this renaissance. And then the pipes get made, and they come into the whole picture and stuff. And for those of us that have been part of this community, whether you've been a glass artist or not, you've just understanding the art. It's
sure.
It's been pretty fucking cool, man, to be a part of this growing thing that's been happening. That I don't think anything exists like it out there in the world.
I'm just bummed I came in so late.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Seems like a really cool party about 10 years ago.
Yeah. When that first wave was going, you're here seeing guys getting like $75,000 for pipes.
Well, it was a lot of people, gripe about the huge influx of new glass blowers on the scene, but it threw so much money into all these companies.
Oh yeah, big time.
Like North Star, GA, Troutman, they were all able to start making Illuminati and fade to black, and they were really there's an upside to it.
Yeah,
there's a definite downside, but there's a lot of upsides.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely a big sea of lots of variations of different elements of talent and stuff. And like when the recyclers and those guys started going, it was really fascinating to see younger 19, 20-year-old glass blowers that have been doing it for like a year, that were making some incredible scientific glasswork and selling it for a lot of fucking money. But that was like all they knew,
Right.
Which I think with you is so important, how you started, with your foundation and pulling points, and it's going to allow you to have a sustained career.
Yeah, pulling points, maybe it's wasteful, but I just love the feeling of working off of a point. When I work off a handle, which I do, there's a lot of, it's all situational. I don't know. I just feel way more connected to the piece. Maybe it's the thinner diameter. Maybe, I don't know, but I just feel like I have more control over shaping off of a point than I do a blow tube.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree. Yeah, it's like working with smaller punnies too, which I get nervous about at times. But again, it's like you're saying, it's situational. There's times I've got a 19 mil blowpipe on a piece because it's fucking huge, or
yep.
I got a 9.5 blowpipe on a piece because it's not that big, or I've got a point. And I was notorious in an old studio I worked in for years. All the bubblers I'd make, I always had just point handles, and they would get a little scratch on the handle from being on my bench, and then like halfway through the piece, I'd snap off and cut my hand open.
Snap right off.
Every fucking time. They always knew it was me. But again, it's
just had to follow the blood trail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny. So, speaking about the Facebook stuff, we talked about topical wise for the show, to like the meat and potatoes of it. Not to zoom past what you've been doing, but something you're passionate about was like talking about the groups and the social media aspect and the influence that can be negative and positive in the groups on Facebook or whatever that's out there. Like I'm not on Reddit,
Sure.
but I'm sure there's a Reddit group out there. Same kind of thing.
Oh yeah, the lamp work and art, pieces subreddit. There's a bunch of good subreddits out there. I haven't been active on there in a few years because Reddit just sucks up a few hours of your day if you let it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I'd rather spend that time on the torture with my kids. So
Yeah. Yeah,
not in that
exactly.
order. I gotta say, not in that order.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of good and bad about the social groups on Facebook. I think that what every glassblower needs to accept is that glass does not have an ego, you do. And if it's that two wolves thing, which one are you going to feed? If you post a piece online, there's going to be people saying, "Oh my God, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen," and then there's going to be seasoned people saying, "It's okay, but you could work on this, this, and this, and this." You got to find the balance of accepting both of those things
Mm-hmm.
and not just ignore these guys over here, saying fix this. Well, these guys really like it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Social media in general lets us pick and choose what we accept. A conversation with somebody a little harder to, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah. I'm not going to listen to you. But when it's text on a screen, it's really easy to say, this guy does. He's just jealous of my sweet pipe or whatever.
Right.
You know. Uh, and I see people stop progressing. So they'll post their beginner pipes and they're jank just like everybody's, and then they post these better pipes and then some nice pipes, and then, oh my God, you're a natural, you're a genius, you're beautiful. You've only been doing this a year and a half or whatever. Uh, and then people are trying to genuinely help them, not tearing them apart. Just you can work on this and this. Well, because of the social media aspect, like I said, he can just, these guys are really big fans of mine, and I'm doing it great. So he just keeps, or she, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just keeps repeating the same thing, and maybe they get cooler colors, like maybe they start working dichro tubing instead of just China tubing, but they're
Mm-hmm.
still making the same shape. They're still making the same pipe, and their career is progressing. Maybe they're selling them for low prices, but they as a glass artist are not.
Right. Yeah. They're
Or
pieces.
like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I don't even consider myself an artist at this point right now. I'm working in production. I'm a craftsman. So even if you're not going at it artistically, you're not stepping up your level as a craftsman.
Yeah. Which is important to do for sure.
Huge. If you're not progressing, you're standing still, and everybody else is just going to move right past you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you're going to look around one day, like,
Yeah. Totally. It
why are
reminds
all
me
these
of
guys making heady rigs?
right. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. It reminds me of like some of the early days of Instagram and the auctions that were happening and stuff, and when like the rig became a thing and it was the auction piece that was like the new spoon basically, and some of these kids were selling stuff and they were getting like $1,000 for it.
Yeah.
There was no reason that they should have gotten $50 for it, but because their buddies were like kind of fuck boys out there that are like hyping them up and shit, and got these guys thinking that their shit was fucking the best thing on earth. I mean, don't get me wrong, 2 weeks into me blowing glass, I was the best glass blower on the earth.
Dude, I was amazing. You don't even know.
Oh yeah, exactly. I got the T-shirt.
And yeah, this is. I mean,
but it's
these
terrible.
are lessons I had to learn myself. Like
Yeah.
I'm not saying like from the get go I was amazing. I had people in my life. That I would bring a case of pipes to the pizzeria I was working at, and they were just shit. But my homies would give me $10 and take a pipe out of the case, and it'd be empty every time. And everyone was telling me, "Oh, dude, you're amazing, you're great." And it clicked on me one day. I'm not a great glass blower. I'm just the best glass blower you know.
Right. That's so
Of
well said.
course, of course it's more amazing. Like I do it. I made this in the garage that we smoked a joint in 6 months ago. Like you're more personally invested in this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even more so than me because you get the product.
Right. Right.
I got $10, but you got a pipe.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Uh,
get the journey and the experience of that, and then they get the final product in the end, which is a great way to sell your work too. Like, it makes it more magical. And I can understand what you're saying about the perspective of like you're the only, if you're the only glass blower this person knows, then you're gonna be the best that they know. If they don't know
You're
otherwise,
amazing.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you're this magician sitting in your fucking studio all day making just amazing stuff. I mean, I get told it all the time at work, about how amazing my stuff is, and I appreciate every comment from every guest that comes in there and says something. And I know my skill level. I know that I'm really fucking good at what I do. But I've also know that I've got a lot of stuff to work on, even the things that I've made 1,000 times. Like that's why I'm constantly refining my shit.
Yep.
People, are like, are you a master at this and that? And I tell them I'll never master this shit. You know, I'm pretty good at turning my torch
That's
on, but that's sometimes even that.
that's one of the coolest things about glass is you can always get a little better.
Yeah,
You never master it really. There's always something you can tweak, a little more heat here, cool new shapes to try. That's one of my favorite things about it. I'll
yeah,
never get
definitely.
bored.
But going back to the groups, like not to single out Torch Talk, but Torch Talk's a well known group, and I remember, God, when I first started this podcast like 6 years ago now almost. I had Will on, and he was one of the founding guys. Will and Mike, and a couple other guys, Bob Harley Dog and whatever. But
Sure.
there was like 3,000 people in there, and then all of a sudden there was like 6,000, and then 10,000. It's like,
Yep.
holy shit! Because people at work all the time, they ask like, "Oh, this is the dying art." I'm like, dude, I'm in a group with like 15,000 fucking glass pipe makers. You have no idea, But the fact that there's so many people in this group, that there's also so many different levels of knowledge, and there's also a lot of levels of bullshit that goes on too, that you have to deal with. And like you're
Yes.
saying, these are the things that can either build you up or break you down, or you can try to just take what you can, bits and pieces. And it's so important in terms of a community of who you're taking the advice from, who you're looking at, who you're following. Because a lot of people that are in there think they know what they're talking about. They think they know what your ventilation system should be because their neighbor next door is a fucking HVAC guy, but they're giving you
Yeah.
information that's completely wrong. So it's
All you need is 485 CFM. You're fine with that. You're not.
yeah, and all your doors closed and your windows closed, and you're good.
Right.
Just
Right.
a fan on
Right.
your face. Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting, especially nowadays with everybody being so brave behind the microphone. Then you get all these trolls that are also glass holes on top of it all that make the
Yep.
make the experience inside of the
Sock
community.
accounts upon sock accounts.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't make the community beneficial anymore. It makes it just more of like a fucking playground with a bunch of kids fighting over their toys.
Now, Torch Talk has lately done a pretty good job of filtering through that. I like Torch Talk.
Yeah, I
I
do
see a
too.
lot of benefit in it. Oh, I know you
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
The mentor feature has been really cool. I haven't signed up for it myself, but my buddy Jeff, everybody knows Jeff Pieces.
Yep.
Uh, Jeff linked up with a guy and then linked me up with him as well to kind of, we could both help him out. This kid Devin, really, he's going to be great. He's going to be amazing, and it's just so cool that like that feature's there, so you can interact individually, not on the comment section where you've got those, those influences, those trolls. You can. It gets more to that conversation level, like I was saying earlier, face to face. It's closer.
Yeah.
You can't ignore the information quite so easily.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's coming from one single source. Like, you can go to 15 different people for business advice, but you're better off just going to one specific person.
Right. The guy who specializes in that. And I think that's why Jeff, put him in contact with me, because I'm, a few more than, Jeff maybe, or whatever it was. But yeah, like there's definite positives to him. You just got to find the balance in it. And just like, understand that there's going to be resistance to. So I post a pipe. I'm 6 months in. I post a pipe. Do I accept the criticism?
Right.
Do I or do I get my ego all up in a tizzy about it, and just pshaw some information that would have helped me immensely progress to the next level. But like I said, that's a social media thing in general. You know, we post our ideal self. We don't talk about everything in our life. We just talk about the things we want people to hear about.
Right.
I mean, it also extends to your social circle. All the glass blowers I'm friends with in Buffalo will tell me that a piece sucks, if it sucks. They'll do it nicely. They'll do it, professionally, but that's super important. The criticism is more important than the praise.
Oh yeah, totally.
If you're gonna take the time to say, well, I see, surface haze there, that was too cold when you moved it, and this Marie is off center and that mouthpiece is off to one side, you're not telling me that to fluff your ego. My buddies already make sweet pipes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They're taking the time to really get in detail about my piece. I appreciate that. When I started out, like I said, it was me and YouTube.
Yeah.
So when my buddy Joe came over, I'm like, I really just need you to tell me when I'm being an idiot. Like, say, hey asshole, you're fucking up.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does anything they think is wrong. Everybody's right all the time. So when I'm trying to make a pipe and I'm doing it completely wrong, well, of course I think it's right. So why I'm not going to correct it on my own? I need somebody to be a little bit of a dick. Just jump and say, no, just stop what you're doing right there.
Oh,
be blunt about it.
Yeah,
it's so helpful.
It's so important. So when I do my apprenticeships, the day one, I let everybody know, like, I might be an asshole at times, and I need you to do exactly the way I say to do the specific thing, because if you don't, then down the road you're gonna have bad habits and etc. And you gotta just grab them by the back of the fucking neck and just be like, do it this way. Like I'll let them know, like, I'll come in there and I'll grab your fucking hands. Just don't burn me. Just take a deep breath and know I'm coming in here to help you position your hands in a certain angle or whatever. Because those little things, like, it's so important, and it sucks that there's so much talent out there, and a lot of the talent thinks they know what they're doing, and they somewhat do, but for the most part, they need a little stick in the ass to get pulled out and listen to what the fuck someone that knows what they're talking about, is actually saying and showing them. So
there's a lot of experience in these groups. So I'd hate to see that experience get sick of, their advice being batted away and leave.
Yeah, totally.
And then I've seen it happen a bunch of times. I've seen really great glassblowers. Now they're in Torch Talk Uncensored. Now they're in the other group. And it's a loss to the we talk about the waves coming in. The waves are still coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We've still got people jumping in off the Revere videos, off people just now seeing degenerate art 10 years later.
Yeah.
People are still getting into this. I'd like to see these groups maintain the knowledge base that they have now. Because, like I said, when I was trying to get started, when I was in, late teens, early 20s, there was no, I mean, there were forums, but we didn't know about them. If you didn't know a glass blower, you weren't going to find out about, the melting pot and talk glass and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm super grateful to have these groups, and I feel like a lot of people could take more advantage of them if they just got past that little bit of ego that was getting knocked down by this good advice.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's like, so I don't really promote it that much, but this year I'm going to be promoting it a lot. But I have a Patreon group, and I have like 5 guys in there right now, and they're all different skill levels. And part of depending on what their level is, they get mentorship from me. And I did my first one-on-one virtual class like 2 weeks ago, and it was a fucking blast. Like, we had a great time, and he was all about, like, he's been doing glass for like 8 years now or something, 9 years, but he was very specific, like, tell me what to do, because like a lot of times, you get into a new piece and you're not sure like the steps, the process, but someone can come in here and show you that's either done it before or may have some kind of idea, like myself.
Right.
So it's I think the difference between like a paid mentorship situation compared to like a free thing like Torch Talk is if you're paying for something, you're going to hopefully in the end pay more attention to it and take it to heart, and be involved in it, compared to getting free advice and you're just kind of throwing some shit against the wall and see what sticks. And maybe you'll get an answer, maybe you won't. You can fish through and see pictures and take different things from you. But like you're saying, there are definitely hidden gems inside Torch Talk that are,
Oh, for sure.
that are in there that are just unbelievable. Like I did a video years ago with those guys. I did a little how to make a flower video. And to this day, I still get people hitting me up like, "Hey man, look at this flower I made. I saw your video on there." And it was, it's been like 5 years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I fucking love it.
That's awesome.
We actually hired somebody at work a couple years ago, and that was one of the things he could make. So they brought him on because we needed that product, and it was just cool to see, seeing that whole thing. So it's like you're saying, the pros and cons are there. It's just like you're saying, the circle and the community, like the five people. Like I would say, like the 5 people that are in your circle are usually what influences you in directions of your life, what personal and business and everything else, and
right.
And the growth aspects. And I think different ages. I know when I was in my 20s, I was a little bit closed-minded, and it's a little bit. I've always had a growth mindset, but I know as I've gotten older, that's definitely become more receptive in a sense, and being okay, being told my shit sucks or my seal sucks, or whatever. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It still hurts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. 3 years ago, I was at AGI in Pennsylvania, if you're familiar.
Yep.
And that year, Jason Lee was there. And we all fucking love Jason Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point on the last night, I had my case open. I was showing my shit to somebody. I turned my back for 3 seconds. When I turned back around, there's Jason Lee hunched over my shit. And I've been doing this 4 years at this point. I am not impressive. So, there's a little bit of, oh shit, this guy's going to think my work is absolute garbage. But he was very complimentary, and even offered to give me a quick demo on how to make my Sherlocks a little nicer.
That's awesome.
There are these guys. And he's super active in Torch Talk,
mm-hmm.
Always sharing information. I like that's what I'm talking about. I love seeing that in there. But like you're saying, having somebody tell you your shit sucks. In a very polite way, Jason Lee said my Sherlock suck. He was like, I can show you how to do this better. I can show you how to do this better. That was huge. It could have come from him. It could have come from, Jeff. It could have come from anybody. The added pressure of being, a guy I look up to, that was fun.
Yeah, it's huge.
But it was fun. It was cool though. If anybody is on the fence about going to one of these glass events when everything opens back up, just go. I'm a very socially anxious person. I don't like people, but you got to remember these are our people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was saying, man, put a bunch of glass blowers together. You got to watch out. It gets crazy.
Oh, it's amazing. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and I think with AGI is another good example of you're actually paying for mentorship. You're going to an event that you paid hard-earned money for, and so the artists that are there are zoned into the fact that all these other artists have paid money for their. We're like
sure.
You may post a picture of that Sherlock on Torch Talk. Jason Lee just might happen to be there, but because it's a quote unquote free thing, he may not be as receptive to think that you're as receptive to take that knowledge from him or the criticism or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's just
right.
It's interesting because like you're saying, you don't want to have the artist be chased off because someone else sees a comment and then this whole negative thread starts because of it.
Right.
Which I think is for me is what the bullshit within inside of the groups that becomes the bullshit that just muddies the water in a sense, and it doesn't do any good for anybody. So, but again, it's I think it's you have to be receptive and open and have that growth mindset, and be able to be told no matter how long you've been doing this that whatever you're making could be mediocre, could be fucking amazing, could suck. We always have fine tuning we can do and everything. That goes for life in general. So,
sure. Yeah.
Again, take these principles into life. I just always say how much, Glass teaches us almost so much life stuff.
one of the most important things I learned in my life is I might be wrong. If you ask yourself that before a major decision, well, am I wrong here? Let me fucking give this a second of thought here. It fixes a lot of potential problems.
Yeah, man, that's putting
When
pride
you think
aside too, because that's a motherfucker sometimes.
pride's a killer. It's useful when you need it, but it can get in the way.
Hmm. Yeah, big time.
Sure.
What are the other groups that you're involved in besides the torch talk group?
I'm in that on the Torch group, the Revere group.
Okay.
I'm not terribly active in that. I'm in some of the wholesale groups. Uh, when I'm active, I'm really active. When I'm not, I'm not.
Yeah.
Those are great resources. The shops get quality glass, and we get access to head shops everywhere.
Yeah. And if you're out there listening to this and you're a glass artist looking for a place to sell your work, definitely check out some of the Facebook groups, and I'll make sure I'll put some links in the show
Sure.
notes for everybody on that.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So I think it's a huge topic, because especially during COVID, things have, obviously the world's changed and things are going to be a lot different when kind of we get back to this sense of normalcy, and now that the elections are over and all this other shit's kind of hopefully going by the wayside very smoothly and slowly here. But that being said, it's 2020 was a year of reflection and gave people a chance to be stuck at home. For me, I was forced to take time off work, so I had a chance to reflect and take some new directions in my life and goals I set, etc. for this year. And then I'm kind of wondering, besides all the babies that are going to be born, this next year, how many new glassblowers were born in this time period? People that
Sure.
needed something to do, so they got a little small torch set up at home and decided they'd try out
They
making
got that stimulus check and got a links.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, shit, Mountain Glass, they were saying they were so busy during COVID time being shut down that, they couldn't do curbside pickups anymore, or, like all kind of stuff. And their shippings were delayed. I mean, COVID was part of that too, but they're slamming and jamming. All these new colors are continuing to come out. Like, the community's still growing. Things are being done a little differently, but
I know my sales went up majorly during COVID. I was selling, 200 pieces at a time. I think, I have no hard evidence of this, but I think there was a major slowdown in import pieces. But I think a lot of I think a lot of money got thrown into our side that usually gets thrown into the other side. I mean, in just under 3 months, I think I told you earlier, in just under 3 months, as a part-time glass blower, I pumped out and sold almost 500 pieces.
yeah, it's crazy.
That's way more than I usually do, and they were to multiple store vendors.
Yeah.
I think Cloud9 picked up 200, and I don't know if that would have happened if it weren't for COVID. I think those numbers he may have normally gone import. I don't know. I don't want to put the guy's business morals out there. I don't know for sure.
No, but it's a good thing to question, because I was wondering that same thing myself, because I know there's things that we can't get, like at work right now, because of stuff not getting
Sure.
imported in a sense, and whatever else is going on. So yeah, I'll be curious to see what ends up happening, if it continues to stay slow down, or if there's all of a sudden a huge back shipment that's been just waiting to come in,
Right.
and then we get flooded with it.
We'll cross that bridge when it comes.
Yeah. But like I said earlier, man, in the meantime, like, those kind of shops aren't the shops we should be even worrying about anyways. There's 40,000 fucking smoke shops in this country.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Yeah, there's like 40,000 here in Orlando alone, it seems like. God.
I've sold to a couple of them.
Nice. Hell yeah, man. Well, anything else you want to touch base on with the social media aspect and the groups and stuff?
Post your shit. Don't be afraid of it. I didn't post stuff for a very long time because I was just making fume spoons. I'll post them. Not only are you going to get good advice, I don't want to harp on that anymore, but it feels good. And that kind of we have this network where we can hit that little thumb, somebody likes it, that can keep you going. There's there's a lot to be said about it. That little serotonin boost in your brain when somebody likes that. You get an Instagram like or whatever. Post your shit.
Yep.
I was right now. I don't know when this is going to hit the air, but right now the Buffalo Bills are absolutely crushing in the playoffs. I'm not a football guy myself, but I live in Buffalo, so I had Malachi Wilkinson make a Buffalo Bills logo for me last year.
Nice.
I've been selling the shit out of them. I posted a picture of those in some sales group, and that led to a guy in Massachusetts who just liked the quality of my pieces, placing an order with me for completely different stuff. So post your whatever you're making. You never know what it's going to lead to. It might lead to good advice. It might lead to a sale. We all have camera rolls in our phones absolutely full of pictures of our glass that maybe you're never even going to show anybody. Post it up.
Yeah, I agree. It's well said. I think when it comes to like Instagram stuff, it's a little different than like Facebook group, type things than sharing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
In terms of like having an online gallery space. But I do agree. Like I think as a new artist or even 4 or 5 years or whatever, it gives you a chance to like document your work in a timeline sense too, so you can go back and look at it and say, hey, this is where I was at this point in time.
I have never deleted a single photo off my Instagram. All of my first year shit is still up there. I love it. I love the progression.
Yeah,
I love seeing that.
Yeah, it's great, and that's what's important. It's like they say, when you lose weight, seeing yourself in the mirror every day, it's hard to tell, and then you all of a sudden do a couple measurements, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah. Like I said, I keep that first spoon. So every now and then I got to look down and see, oh, that's right. I do make very nice glass now. Okay.
Yeah, if you're cranking off fucking 500 spoons, Jesus.
That was, whew.
Yeah.
Long nights.
Yeah, man. But it's, those nights, I miss them and I don't, but like, so we were talking pre-show, I've been cranking out some Sherlocks for Chris Piazza just for some production and some extra income on the side. And
sure.
I sit there and I'm like, I really don't need to make these financially wise because I know there's other things I can make where I can make more money. However, I love production and I love pushing myself to that point where I've got 3 more to do and my brain's like, fuck you, smoke a bowl and go home. And I'm like, no, fuck you, I'm going to make these 3 pipes. Now I'm going to smoke a bowl and go home. Then
I'm going to smoke 2 bowls.
Right. Because then you get that 3rd one done and then you're done. And it's like, it's such a satisfying feeling.
It's the best. There's nothing better than a kiln stacked.
Yeah. I agree.
When you got pipes on pipes on pipes.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, and I don't get me wrong.
Orange glow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've had that orange glow be too glowy, and found I had a sculpture in there at the end of the day.
Ooh.
Yeah, back in the day.
Always keep a spare relay on hand, kids.
Yeah, this was back when I had an analog kiln.
Yep. That happened at AGI one year.
Yeah.
An entire day's worth of prep for people got cranked up too much and it all got slumped into one piece.
Oh man, it sucks.
It was brutal.
Talk about a collab, huh?
Yeah, right. That's a forced collab.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, on that note, I think it's a good time for us to take a quick break, thank some sponsors, and then we'll come back and time for us to crash the kiln.
All right.
All right, so now it's time for a Crash the Kiln round. I think there's 7 questions. I say that every fucking time, and I still have not got back and counted them. So anyways, you can give me a 30 to 60-second answer on these questions and expound upon them if you would like, as we always tend to do. And the first question I always like to ask, if there is any living glass artists that you'd like to collab with or work with, who is it and why?
I would like to work with Jason Lee, obviously. Like I said before, he's a guy I look up to. He's got the eye for patterns and color work that I think I look up to that a lot. Um, I'd like to get better at that myself, and generally the only way to get better is to work with somebody better than you. So he's on that list.
Hell yeah.
Most people are, but he's definitely on that list.
Yeah, he's very technical with what he does and mathematical. With his patterning, it's always like 3 5 7 9s, and he's very specific with what he's going for. And it's. I think that cleanliness is what speaks for his work, but it's also that's what's set an example in the industry of what clean work should actually look like.
Like his zipper tech stuff,
Yeah, the new
super
stuff.
clean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
super clean.
yeah. The innovation side of things, and then also the fact that he's gone back and then created milli work traditionally, like the Venetians did back in the day, kind of stuff. It's
Right.
just incredible stuff. Yeah, he's definitely high on my list for sure. Number 2, what are your top 5 favorite colors in glass? I know you mentioned you do a lot of fume work, but
So yeah, fume's gonna go number one. It's just so satisfying. Uh, Directly after that is experimental green. I absolutely love that color. Amber purple has to be on the list. It's super fun to work with. Super fun once you can get it to strike just to where you want it. I love blue and green stardust.
Hmm.
If we can count those as one.
yeah,
And I love the look of fade to black, but I haven't quite gotten it. It requires a certain heat control and heat base to really make a piece survivable. And from what I found, I'm using some of the old batch, the really experimental batch that's real shocky. But it's such a cool, innovative color that I've got to get some of the release to really have an opinion on it. But I think it's just so much fun. And you can do so much with it.
interesting. I have yet to use that stuff.
It's if the experimental stuff again, that's all I can really speak to. It seems to really hate itself. It seems to have compatibility issues with itself. Stuff just likes to crack.
Oh,
You got to
yeah.
keep everything super warm all the time, and I don't have a Bunsen burner, so that gets a little trickier. But I've made a bunch of stuff with it. I tend not to sell that to shops because the early batches cracks will form down the road, and I don't want that
Yeah.
out there. But I'll make a lot of gifts with it and stuff like that. It's just so cool. It's fun to have colors you can draw on almost with your flame.
Yeah, I agree. Heck yeah. Yeah, it sounds like fun. I got to try some of that stuff. Number 3 question is, what is your worst injury in the studio?
I've been super lucky so far, but about 2 months ago, I had an unpolished point handle that I opened up, and I scooped out a good chunk of my little finger on my left hand.
Mm.
Right as I just blown in a huge section into a 4 or 5 inch section of 50 mil, and it was either take care of the blood or save the prep. So I'm sitting there, one hand above my head when I could, just dripping all over. Uh, Prep came out nice and straight. I was actually pretty proud of that.
Nice.
I was able to keep everything on center, no wonky. All the walls were even. It was good.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, just your general scoop, your little laceration.
Man, it still sucks, though.
Oh, for sure.
I've done it before many times, so I can feel
I'll
it.
do it again.
Yeah, you will.
Oh yeah.
That's so funny. When you're in the studio, do you listen to music or do you watch TV or do both?
Both more on the TV aspect. I'll throw on something I've seen a billion times, so I can just kind of follow along in my head.
Yeah.
I tend to work better with voices in the background than full on music. I listen to a lot of jam bands, and it gets a little loose. It kind of affects my rhythm.
Oh, I completely agree,
in
bro.
my work.
Totally.
So at least with a TV, with like The Office on or something,
Uh-huh.
uh, I set my own rhythm that's independent of the changing rhythm on whatever I'm watching.
Yeah, nothing worse than trying to put like a bubbler can and a stem together when you're fucking dancing to some Grateful Dead or something. This doesn't work.
No, it's brutal. It's brutal. You need a little bit of dance, but yeah, you can go too far.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Do you have any glass blowing themed tattoos?
I don't. I do want to get my torch on my forearm, but uh, I don't know the when I see the price tag to get it done right, it's worth it. It's worth it. I just never want to put it out, or I'm never able to put it out
Right.
when I have an opportunity. So someday,
Hell yeah, yeah. Sometimes these tattoos cost
I'll
as
hustle enough.
much as the torch costs.
For sure. And again, they're worth it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's incredible if when it's done by the right artist.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been fortunate to most of my ink I've traded for over the years, and I've got
Right on.
I have my torch, my Carlisle turned into a little UFO on my, and it's like a space scene I've got going on, and
That's cool.
I traded that with like the first like probably year and a half of pipes when I was making back in the day. So same kind of thing. Like I had an awesome local shop. He's like, yeah, man, I'll take all your junky shit because I will sell it, no problem.
And they do.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I was surprised. Little $5 basket he threw on top of his counter with all my janky shit. You know, it was pretty
It's
nice.
all gone there.
Yeah.
You got the customer base there.
Yeah, they're like throwaway spoons. I mean, literally.
Oh yeah.
When you hear the sound of glass cracking, could you describe it in one word, whether a physical, emotional experience or just a word you got to get out to express yourself?
I think it has to be the.
Yeah.
You nothing moves faster. The sound of a tink is faster than the speed of light somehow. It happens so quickly. You have no time to really react half the time. I mean, you can save it, but as it's happening, nothing reaches your ear that quick. And the only thing I can say is,
Yep. That's the same thing I do too. I just shake my head and make a couple moaning, groaning sounds.
yep. No point getting mad. It's something I did. I fucked up.
Well,
Can't be mad at the glass.
So you're in Buffalo, right? So it's probably like
Yep.
20 below zero there right now, and here it's been in the 40s at night. I've been in the shop, and I was there last night, freezing my balls off, and I've got like long underwear on and my jeans and my snow boots,
Yep.
and there's no snow here ever. I've seen snow like twice my whole life, but it just got, I just have mad props for anybody out there, including yourself, dude, that is right now dealing with the winter and having to blow glass and the cold, in a warm studio, hopefully, but. I don't know how y'all do it.
Well, what's a warm studio though? If your makeup air is proper, any heat you're producing is getting sucked right out.
Exactly.
You layer up, and the trick I've found is a heated floor mat.
Yep.
It's not going to warm your feet. It just slows the heat sink into the cement floor or whatever you're standing on.
Yeah.
It's not going to get you toasty. It's just going to keep you okay longer.
Yeah, that's definitely what I find is my legs, even if I've got long underwear on, like it's my back, because I don't have an extra layer of wool back there or something in my hoodie, But then my legs and my feet, and yeah, definitely, that's a good idea.
It all just gets sucked right out of you. It's Buffalo isn't as cold as people think. It gets cold, but then you got places like Minnesota.
Yeah.
That I give crazy respect to any lamp worker working in Minnesota right now, because when your tink bucket freezes, no matter how hard you're raging,
Right.
That's a thing. That's an issue.
Time to move to Florida.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know when 1 year here, our winter the average was colder than Kentucky. Like they were kind of comparing to the middle of the country, I guess. And I remember one morning going in and turning on my kiln, and it said it was 28 degrees, and my ice bucket was, my knockoff bucket was iced over. It wasn't solid, but it was iced over. And then my tube of 44 mil that I tried slowly warming up exploded.
Shatters.
Oh man, it was, yeah. And so I went home.
So what I do with that, if anybody's having that problem, is I'll lay any points I want to pull. I'll lay the tube on the table. Take some prep out of the kiln. I always have some prep that you can have in the kiln. Just make whatever. Just start radiant heat going, and it'll warm that tube up. Take 20 minutes to make just a clear spoon, or maybe not 20 minutes, but
I know what you mean, though.
just work a little bit. get the radiant heat in it, and you'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah.
I've definitely done that. It's crazy how 20 degrees, 30 degrees is the deciding factor when we're talking about thousands of degrees in the torch. Somehow that 30-degree too cold, that's what does it.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, the definition of thermal shock in your hands. You can feel it through your body when it happens.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
it's amazing.
Just watch all that money disappear.
Yeah, it's completely. That's
I
what's
was gonna
fucking
be
pisses
4
me off.
spoons.
Yeah, yeah. All that glass that breaks would have paid for that entire case that just fucking you just bought. God. Oh well, that's the life of a glassblower.
Right?
That's why you see sets on eBay for fucking half price.
I was just talking to Jeff Pieces. I get all my glass through him, FLX Glass, and I just recently got some 32 that I was going to use for Fritz, and I really don't like it for Fritz. I decided. I regretted not getting 38 because you can really with 32 you still got to blow it out and really melt that Frit in. With 38 you can condense it down and melt all that shit in.
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, oh, well, do you want to get another one? Like, oh, I got no spare cash for it right now, but I do have a tube of 38 that I can turn into a case of 38 in about a weekend. So
Heck yeah.
I think about that tube. That's straight money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I shatter it, I shatter dinner for the next 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. So last and final question is your top 5 favorite tools, and that does not include your torch or your kiln or your glasses.
Right. Number one is a $7.50 pair of reverse tweezers that I got from Mountain Glass.
Nice.
They're essentially mini jacks. I use them for friggin' everything. Your bowl hole's too small, hit it with a flame, expand those tweezers in the hole, get your little pencil reamer, which by the way is number 2, right in that hole, and sure that up. Expand it out and make it round.
Hell yeah.
For $7.50, it's got to be the best thing on my bench. Number 2, like I said, that pencil reamer. It's again just applications everywhere. I love my Jaws. I have the original Jaws, the original style Jaws. I've heard iffy things about the newer style, but no experience on them.
Is it a scoring tool?
It's the pliers with the cutting wheel on it.
Yeah, yep.
I generally pick open all my blow tubes now, but when I need to clean up 50 blow tubes, I'm willing to sacrifice that centimeter of glass and just get it all done.
Yeah. Does your version have like in like the because like mine's like a pair of pliers basically that adjustable pliers, but the original version had like where the grip on the teeth are. That has like a little rubber gasket in there that allows you to have like a rubber grip onto the glass. And then the newer version that I've seen that Mountain Glass is selling, there's no rubber there at all. It's just like the metal basically you're grabbing the glass with. It's like the second generation of them. But I found like the first generation had the rubber thing in there, and it was so nice to be able to grip on the glass. And I think the person that was making them got overwhelmed because they had just the orders. They couldn't keep up with it, so they just quit making them.
For sure. I've got they're like adjustable pliers. Don't think I have a rubber bit on mine though, so maybe it is a second version. But no, even the new version I'm sure is great. They're all stainless steel now.
Yeah.
Like mine are all there's what is it, petechia, the rust all over it, and the rubber grips on the plier are crumbling off.
Yeah, mine are all taped up now.
But no, that's a great tool for somebody to get. If you're using the scoring knife, you can get wonky, lopsided snaps, and when you're trying to flare out a blow tube, you want as center and clean as possible.
Yep.
Yeah, those jaws are real nice. My Griffin glass reamer is just perfect. I love my Nathan Smith reamer, but the weight on my Griffin glass is just absolutely perfect.
Heck yeah. Is it graphite or is it brass?
Graphite. I generally don't like brass reamers. I had a bad experience where I flashed it in my flame and screwed up the tip. I had a real narrow one. Yeah, so I try to stick all graphite. The only metal on my bench is are those reverse tweezers.
Okay.
I got one more, huh? Let me see here. Oh, my handy Andes.
Not familiar.
They're two tungsten picks that on tweezers basically.
Oh yeah,
used
yeah.
to puncture, yeah.
And they're kind of like got a bent angle.
A little bit, yeah. They're super. All my Sherlocks get donut mouthpieces.
Okay.
Because I was tired of hearing complaints about them being phallic shaped.
Hilarious.
And there's a bunch of different ways to make. You can pop two holes, push them together. But if we're talking production and speed, the handy Andes are just 2 seconds and you've got a hole. And I take my trusty little tweezers, span that out, and
heck yeah,
I'm good to go.
Yeah, those are great little tools. Some people might think that they're cheaters, but I think it's just like whatever tool it takes to get the job done. Fuck it.
It's whatever. If you can achieve it quicker with a tool and still get the same quality, let's do it.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, my whole thing is if I hold up mine and you hold up yours and they look exactly the same, we made them differently. Who gives a shit? It's all in the quality.
Well, you ask 10 glass blowers how to do something, and you're going to get 15 answers.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
There's a lot of skin on this cat.
Yep. Hell yeah, man. Well said. Well, before I let you go here, dude, again, thanks so much for coming on, and I'm glad you answered my question out there on the Torch Talk group because
thanks for putting it out there, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm thankful for all everybody that's listened to the show and reached out, and I'm finding that I'm continuously getting downloads on the show, which is what my goal was, but like a lot of new people are finding the show, which has been pretty awesome. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, so I appreciate you coming on, man. But that being said, before we let you go here, if you want to give us a little bit of parting piece of advice, and then how we can find you out there in the world of cyberspace.
Again, I'm going to revert to you might be wrong. It's a good mindset to take into anything, especially something like glass, where if you're wrong, the glass will let you know.
Yeah.
And you can blame the glass all you want, but the glass is just the glass, and you're the one in control of it. So you might be wrong, you might be right. It's a maybe situation. But if you keep an open mind to a different way of doing things than you have been doing them, you might be surprised.
Yeah, well said. It's simple and it's can be very effective.
As far as online, you can find me on Instagram. I'm strange_I_am.
Awesome, and I'll have that
I
in the
like to
show
let people
notes.
know what kind of guy I am. My business card is all black on one side. It just says strange. I like to let them know what kind of conversation we're in for.
I love it. That's why I love this community, man. We're all strange in our little ways, but we all got our little quirky things.
If there's any place I was gonna fit in, it would be here.
Hell yeah. Love it. Hell yeah, and I'll make sure I have your information on the show notes for everybody to find you out there, and I'll get the post up and stuff. But yeah, man, appreciate it again you having me on me on. Yeah, thanks for having me on, dude.
You got it, man. I've been trying to build this up for about 10 years now, so getting you on here is really going to be a leg up.
Hell yeah. I will make sure I promote this to everybody. But yeah, so thanks for coming on the show, man. I definitely glad we're able to work this out, and our schedules are crazy, but hey, it's 2021 now, so we can all stop saying it's 2020 because that's been my excuse for all year.